Chapter 5, 25 minutes and 14 seconds. Skill and talent? Looks like the reward for Nightmare Mission is different in the sense that the reward is directly beneficial to myself. Making a mental note of this important point, Chen Ge's heart burned with anticipation. He had seen the existence of the other world, the world of terror, fear, darkness, and danger. Perhaps that world was where his parents had gone, but based on his current power, keeping himself safe was a big enough issue, let alone looking for them. Thankfully, with the black phone by his side, there was still a chance. In any case, that is still quite far in the future. The thing I need to focus on is to stabilize the haunted house business and survive this imminent financial crisis. He pulled out his phone. That was close. Something disastrous could have happened. This shows that nightmare missions aren't so easily completed. Then again, there's no reason for me to go about this alone. In an information age like ours, help can be reached at the tip of one's fingers. He logged into a few famous national supernatural forums and uploaded the original video. A few seconds later, his video was dubbed, "Who is that in the mirror?" It was rapidly viewed and shared. Perhaps people were so bored of the usual host of gossip and news that they wanted to switch it up. The popularity of the video shot up like an arrow. Every time Chen Ge refreshed the page, there would be at least 10 new comments. 2514. You all can thank me later. Has the uploader lost his mind? Who would do something like this in the middle of the night? Why did the cracks appear on the mirror on their own? Also, what was that thing that knocked into the mirror near the end there? The cracks are mostly caused by temperature manipulation inside the room. No, you guys are all wrong. In Taoism, mirrors are items of pure yin energy. I suggest the video's title be changed from "Who is that in the mirror?" to "The Ghost in the Mirror." Jesus Christ, who dares do something this crazy so late at night? I'm impressed by the uploader's bravery. This video has definitely been tampered with. If not, take down my ID, I'll stand on my hand and eat shit. Am I the only one who noticed this? The profile of the uploader is the owner of a haunted house in western Zhejiang. Don't get all wrapped up over this. This is nothing more than a fabricated advertisement. Chen Ge's inbox instantly filled with private messages. Some came with questions, others with suspicion, but Chen Ge ignored them all. He knew his video was real. He didn't think he owed any of these people any explanation. Those in the know would realize its authenticity. And as for those who just wanted to undermine him, why should he waste his time on them? Looking at the video's meteoric rise in popularity, Chen Ge realized with a start that this was actually not a bad opportunity. He spliced the original video, only taking the last 14 seconds, and uploaded it to the nation's biggest video-sharing app. Amid the videos that showcased food, dances, or singing, his haunted video was definitely one of a kind. In just less than 10 seconds, people had started to fall for his trap. Unlike the users on supernatural forums who went searching for stuff like this, these random users started leaving inflammatory comments under the video from being scared for no reason. Sadly, on the internet, conflict and controversy bring in more viewers than praise does, so the wave of online censure only brought in more viewers. Scrolling through the comments, Chen Ge could practically sense the hatred and anger directed his way. He shrugged it off with a laugh. To be fair, he did understand why these people reacted the way they did. Most of them were probably preparing for bed, all wrapped up in their blankets, and were probably just looking through some light-hearted videos in preparation to settle down for the night. This scary video of a man wreathed in candlelight had the complete opposite effect than what they were hoping for. The best feature of the video was that it was only 14 seconds, so before they realized what was happening, the scare had already happened. The mirror shattered, and the thing appeared like it was trying to rush out of the mirror and then through the phone screen itself. This was truly a masterful setup. Based on how lively the comment section is, the popularity of this video looks like it's not going to drop anytime soon. This means that everyone likes my video, yes? A certain someone asked a shameless and rhetorical question. The number of followers has already increased by 100. If I don't make use of this opportunity to advertise the haunted house, then I'll feel I've disappointed all of my new fans and followers. Chen Ge edited the title of the video and attached the address of the haunted house at the user info section. He even added in brackets, "a completely not scary haunted house." Chen Ge was satisfied with his updated user page. He remained seated under the window to look through the stream of messages and eventually fell asleep. Chen Ge was woken up by the sunlight that fell on his face. He stretched his tired body and stood up from the corner of the toilet. "It's 8:30 a.m. already?" He dusted his clothes and pocketed both the doll and the phone before leaving the toilet. He noticed there were obvious scratch marks on the edges of the wooden toilet door, like it had been munched on by rodents. Just what was the thing outside the door last night? Looking at this, Chen Ge suddenly felt thankful he did not move from the mirror last night and go out to take a look. Nightmare missions might cause unexpected circumstances. I need to be more careful in the future. Since there was not any discernible change to the haunted house, Chen Ge shrugged it off and prepared to welcome a new day. The new Century Park opened at 9 a.m. At 8:45 a.m., a slender and lithe figure that was disproportionate to her chest size ran toward him carrying a backpack. "Boss!" The girl radiated an aura of youthfulness. Her exquisite features practically glowed in the sun. Her skin was taut and supple like fresh apricot that one could not help but wish to take a bite of. "Xiao Wan, your timing is perfect. I've just added a new background track to our song database. Listen to it and tell me what you think." Before Chen Ge could finish his sentence, Xu Wan gripped his hand tightly. On reflex, he asked, "What are you doing?" "I just saw a big crowd gathered at the entrance of the park. They're discussing the haunted house. We have people coming here just to experience the haunted house," Xu Wan exclaimed excitedly. "Boss, we seem to have plenty of customers waiting." "Shouldn't that be expected? Is this your first time at the park?" Chen Ge pretended to be unaffected. He pulled out his phone to look at the video sharing app. His current number of followers had broken through 500, and the popularity of his video had reached the top 10 of the app. He scanned through the comments, and unlike other comment sections which were filled with XOXO or threes, his was filled with endless reprimands, rebukes, and threats. Some of them even said that they had prepared the knife to slay Chen Ge, and that they were on the way to his address. This seems to have gotten slightly out of hand. Chen Ge coughed awkwardly before dragging Xu Wan with him into the haunted house. "We have 15 more minutes to the official opening time of the park. Since we're the only two left protecting this haunted house, be prepared for the imminent war." Chapter 6. Beauty Makeup. Chen Ge's haunted house currently only had 2 available scenarios, Night of the Living Dead and Minghun. The Night of the Living Dead was heavily criticized by the Black Phone. Chen Ge thought about it as objectively as he could, and he had to admit there were many flaws with that scenario. Furthermore, to complete the scenario, he had to have at least 3 workers. "Xiao Wan, our main theme today will be Minghun. Later, after I'm done setting up the background music, remember to put on your earphones when you work. Also, I'll be doing your makeup today." "Boss, you know how to do makeup?" Xiao Wan laughed half-mockingly at him. "Fine, but I'll do it myself if you screw it up." "Don't worry. I'll make you look so beautiful that you'll take their breath away." They walked into the makeup room. Chen Ge set Xiao Wan down before the mirror and used the ball of his palm to slowly massage her face. Activating elementary skill, Mortician's makeup. Looking at the youthful girl in the mirror, many memories that Chen Ge felt did not belong to him suddenly appeared in his mind. It was a chaotic mess. There was not only knowledge about color matching and other makeup skills, but also human anatomy, physiology, bone structure, and the study of death. "Boss, are you sure you know how to do makeup?" 30 seconds had passed. Xu Wan sat before the mirror, feeling the unfamiliar temperature of the hand on her face. Looking at the reflection of her face, which her boss was fussing over, her heart started to race, and she felt weirdly shy for some reason. A good makeup artist will come up with different styles according to the face shape of his client. And Xiao Wan, I have to say, you have a pretty good base already. There were literally no dirty thoughts on Chen Ge's mind. After he activated the Mortician's makeup skill, Xu Wan had already become a corpse in his mind. Hammer, shaver, scalpel, needle and thread, formaldehyde, alcohol. Sigh, I'm missing all these things. Looks like I'll have to settle with the most basic makeup, Chen Ge mumbled to himself, scaring Xu Wan quite a bit. The girl could not understand why her boss would require so many scary instruments for a simple haunted house makeup. She was feeling slightly spooked, but since she did not feel like it was appropriate to say no to her boss, all she could was glance at the progress through her half-shut eyes and pray for the best possible outcome. The foundation is too bland, and the blush too bright. Also, where's the lipstick? Chen Ge continued to grumble, and he even started to blend colors. The familiarity and expertise of his movements did not match his appearance of a geek who should not have known any of these things. Xu Wan herself was baffled by what was happening before her. Color matching without the aid of online guides or books, this is some high-level makeup skill. Boss, I don't think you should be so hard on yourself. After all, the lighting in the haunted house is so dim, the visitors wouldn't be able to see anything. Shush and stop moving, Chen Ge cut her off and helped her apply the eyeshadow that he had just blended. It was just several strokes of eyeshadow, but it contributed a drastic change to Xu Wan's personality. It added an air of mystery and frostiness to her. Xu Wan's natural instinct was to mock her boss, but when she saw her reflection in the mirror, her tiny mouth fell open. A blush of just cherry red will be too simple, lacks layering, but when combined with some of this purple, it'll be so different. They blend perfectly like they're meant for each other, Chen Ge explained, like a makeup guru, as he used the brush to blend the two blushes on the back of his palm. Boss, what are you doing? Our haunted house's blush is too gaudy in the hopes of creating a striking visual effect, but that's pushing it a bit too far, so I'm toning it down by first applying and spreading it on my hand. Chen Ge's action was gentle, and minutes later, the blush did become smoother to the eyes, and there was even a brightening effect to it. Now, Xu Wan's mouth formed a perfect O. Boss, you're amazing. Where did you learn all this? There's plenty more of my talent you haven't seen yet. Makeup and beauty tricks are just things I explore in my free time, Chen Ge explained with a smile. He was in quite a great mood because he now had actual proof that the phone app really could affect the real world. In just 10 minutes, Chen Ge finished Xu Wan's makeup. Now, take a look. What do you think? The person in the mirror seemed to have walked out of a water painting. She was a quintessential Eastern beauty, but there was simply something off about her. Xu Wan could not help but stand up and twirl in front of the mirror. Her expression changed from utter shock to fascination before ending with a shudder. Boss, I've never looked so beautiful in my life. Is this person really me? Of course it is. But she reached out hesitantly toward the mirror. How come it feels like I'm looking at a dead person? Xu Wan's observation also made Chen Ge suck in a cold breath. The purpose of a mortician's makeup was bringing out the beauty of the dead, so naturally Chen Ge's makeup was not meant for the living. Don't worry about it. The amusement park is opening soon, so quickly go change into your clothes and stand by at the second-floor Minghun scenario. Remember to put on your Bluetooth earpiece and listen to my direction. Chen Ge tactfully moved the topic away and shoved Xu Wan off to her work. He used the little remaining time he had left to work on the puppets and mannequins in the Minghun scenario set piece. With the aid of Mortician's makeup, all of the mannequins looked creepily alive. I suppose that's all for now. I'll recolor them when I have time. Chen Ge packed up his toolbox and rushed downstairs. Before he reached the entrance, he could already hear the chatter of the visitors. You're also here to seek revenge from the immoral bastard? Yes, the creep caused me to drop my phone and it broke, so what do you think? You people are still lucky. My pants were already on the ground when this thing popped up. I was so scared, the scream left my throat before I could help it. Thinking something happened to me, my parents rushed into my room. So, with not a shred of fabric on me and a roll of toilet paper in my hand, you can imagine how awkward it was. Listening to the visitors' complaints, Chen Ge tried to stop himself from laughing. He took a deep breath and put on a serious countenance before pushing the entrance open. Welcome to my humble house of horrors. Chen Ge's lips curled upward when he saw the long line of customers. Xiao Chen, your place is already packed so early in the morning? Not bad. The worker who was fixing the carousel gasped with surprise. As he was about to wander over to greet Chen Ge, he realized how curious these visitors were looking. They did not look like the normal happy park goers. It's okay, I'm just glad for the support. Chen Ge shrugged as he pulled the gate open. Who said we're here to support you? Shameless. We're here to resolve debts, not to play. Is he the real deal? You're the one who uploaded video last night? Where's my knife? Hand me my knife. The visitors were so passionate that it was total chaos, but Chen Ge spoke over them. Since you're already here, why don't you come in for an experience? The best way to counter fear is to find a more intense stimulation, fight poison with poison, so to speak, to desensitize yourself to the fear. Indeed, it is my fault for not giving more warning for yesterday's video, and for that, I apologize, so how about this? All the tickets into the haunted house will be 50% off today. Don't miss out on such a wonderful discount. Chapter 7. Minghun. Fight poison with poison? Do you think we're that easily fooled? Bro, just give me some money to fix my phone display and I'll leave. You think you can make this go away with a discounted ticket? No way. After several minutes of arguing, there were still no visitors who showed any intention of entering the haunted house. They stayed firmly outside the gate as if the entrance was a line of minefields. They were so terrified that even Chen Ge could not help but sigh. No one dares to come in just to give it a try? My haunted house is not even scary. If you don't believe me, feel free to check the online reviews. As he said so, some in the crowd really did do that. Indeed, all the reviews say the place is not scary. The only good thing about it is apparently they hire a pretty lady to play the ghost. Then shall we give it a try? Yet another long wait later, finally someone stepped forward. Bunch of cowards. This is just a haunted house. How scary can it be? I've seen plenty of human carcasses. Do you think I'll be afraid of this? The person who stepped forth was a bushy-browed young man with a crew cut. He looked rather unassuming. Bro, stop joking with us. Even bluffing has a limit to it. Just how old are you? Yet you want us to believe you've seen real human carcasses? We're all scaredy cats here. So why are you lying to us? Just as the voices of derision gathered, a rather soft but firm voice cut through the cacophony. He's not lying. Facing human carcasses is indeed a daily business for people like us. The crowd turned toward the voice, and they saw a tall, slender woman in a sun hat and a white dress walking over from the park entrance. Her facial expression was cold, and it was as if she carried a personal air conditioner with her because the temperature around her felt rather low. Senior! The young man bounced like a rabbit toward the woman, attempting to help her with her bag, but he was deterred by a wintry glare from the woman. He stood where he was, all flustered, with an awkward yet polite smile on his face. Wait, did you just call her senior? You two are still students? Chen Ge's attention was also drawn to these two young people. We're forensic science students from Zhejiang Medical University. My name is He San, and this is my senior, Gao Rushui. The young man smiled at Chen Ge. The video you uploaded last night has been shared on our school's forum, and my senior decided to pay this place a visit after watching it. That unapproachable beauty is a forensic doctor, although her presence does match her profession nicely. Miss, how about we be friends? The male visitors started to crowd around the woman. Acting as her guardian, He San merely smiled and said, I don't think you all understand what you're getting into. The other morning, my senior cut open some toads or rats, but right after washing her hands, she happily sauntered over to the canteen to have braised meat completely unaffected. When she passed the lab late last night and saw the bodies soaked in formaldehyde, she yawned and greeted them nicely. Listen to my advice and measure yourself. The number of men she has operated on is probably higher than the number of girls any one of you have held the hand of. This unique introduction had achieved the result he wanted. Instantly, a 2-meter radius emptied around the woman. Chen Ge also felt a mounting headache upon hearing the young man's introduction. It was not easy for him to finally finish the nightmare mission and receive the reward, but the first challenger his updated haunted house received was a pair of forensic science students. Since their degree was in forensic science, naturally they would have a fear threshold higher than most. Can we go in now? The woman strode impatiently to stand before Chen Ge. She was already tall, but in her heels she was practically on the same level as Chen Ge. The original ticket price is 20, so with the 50% discount it'll be 10. Before we go in, I would like to provide the haunted house's background and a warning. Chen Ge remembered the tips provided by the black phone. One of the three important features of a haunted house was its plot and background. It would help the visitors get into the mood. First, an introduction. Even though many online reviews say my haunted house is not scary, as a responsible proprietor, I wish to divulge to both of you some facts. The ground we're on was the largest mass grave in Zhujiang City 50 years ago. 30 years ago, due to city planning, they flattened the graves and built the Zhujiang City Hospital on the site. What happened next you can easily find out on the internet. The hospital was forced to close down due to the frequent occurrence of many incidents that could not be explained, and my haunted house is a remodeled hospital building that was behind. It still hides many secrets that concern the ill-fated hospital. After that, Chen Ge pointed at the warning sign beside the main entrance. No entry to visitors with a heart condition or vascular disease. Visitors above 12 and below 16 have to be accompanied at all times by their parents or guardians. If there are no questions, please follow me. Chen Ge pulled open the black heavy drapes, closed the rusted gate, and led He-san as well as Gao Ru Shui down the dark corridor. Since they cannot share the same room in life, they'll share the same grave in death. This is a local urban legend that has been passed down for many generations. Ping Jiangho wished to set up a Minghun for her son, who unfortunately passed away too soon. Therefore, she invited a fortune teller to take a look at her son's life and fortune map before finally pinpointing a girl as the perfect candidate to accompany his son in death. However, the girl already had someone else in her heart. To make her submit, Ping Jiangho killed her lover by shoving him into a lake and threatened the girl's parents' lives. Finally, to protect her parents, the girl agreed to marry a dead man. Red and white candles stood side by side, a wedding coupled with a death. After the girl was sealed in the coffin and buried alive, many weird things started to happen to the Ping household. The statues of bronze chicks started to bleed, and the paper dolls burned for the dead were found blinking. And every midnight, a woman could be seen wandering the halls. The scenario that you'll be experiencing this time is called Minghun. The set is completely open. You can go anywhere you wish, but you need to locate the correct exit in less than 15 minutes. If you wish to surrender, stand under any of the available cameras and scream for help. I'll fetch you. Chen Ge stopped at the second-floor entrance and bowed. Enjoy? That sounds interesting, but if you think that's enough to scare me, you're sorely mistaken. He-san rambled shamelessly while he hid behind his senior. His lips said he was not afraid, but his feet seemed screw shut to the ground, unwilling to move. In comparison, Gao Ru Shui was more collected. She entered the scenario wordlessly. Senior, wait for me. After the two visitors entered, Chen Ge locked the front door entrance and called Shu Wan. Xiaowan, our guests have entered. Be prepared. Also remember to put your earpieces in. After giving all the necessary orders, Chen Ge returned to the main control room. This small room was where he could see the different cameras and where he could control all of the setups. I really didn't think I will be using this music so soon since it does sound a bit dark, but since they're not normal visitors, I have no choice. Chen Ge turned on the audio system and put the Black Friday music on repeat. With everything in place, he sat before the monitor watching He-san and Gao Ru Shui closely. If anything weird happened to them, he would rush in to save them immediately. Chapter 8. Black Friday. Xiao-san, this is a perfect opportunity for you to brush up on your traditional Chinese architecture knowledge. This is an almost perfect reconstruction of a traditional Seheiyuan 1. There are 3 layers of entrance. Dao Zuo Wu 2, the main house, the ear houses, 3, Chao Shou Corridor 4, Chui Hua Men 5, East and West houses, the back house, Ru Yi Door 6, and so on. I'm impressed by the attention to detail. It really does feel like you've traveled back in time. Gao Ru Shui walked through the set pieces, stopping occasionally to study the details. Senior, we're inside a haunted house, not on a study trip, do you mind? Their footsteps echoed through the empty courtyard in which paper money was fluttering. It was as if He-san was in a different dimension compared to Gao Ru Shui. He turned back every few seconds, afraid that something might jump out at him from the dark corners. We'd better find the exit as soon as possible. This place makes me jumpy. Since we're already here, of course. We have to savor the experience. Remember, We're customers. Don't let the haunted house toy with you. But don't you remember the boss warned that we have to find the exit in less than 15 minutes? Based on the evil look of that guy, I'm sure he has something scary planned if we are unable to escape in 15 minutes. He-san tried to urge Gao Rushui, but the latter was not at all affected. There are only so many tactics that a haunted house can employ. At worst, they'll have the workers dress up as ghosts to chase us around. Xiao-san, you deal with dead bodies every day. Don't tell me that you've suddenly decided to be afraid of ghosts. As Gao Rushui wandered down the hugging corridor, she pushed open the door to the left ear house. The set piece of Minghun was typical of an old Beijing Siheyuan. The main house was the living building for the elderlies and the head of the house. The east and west houses were for the sons and daughters, while the ear houses were for the servants and maids. As the door was pushed open, the tables and chairs in the room tumbled over. The pillows on the bed were shredded, causing cotton fluff to float up into the air. A white hanging cloth swayed right in the middle of room. "Senior, I'll guard the door. Be careful inside." Before He-san could finish, he was dragged into the room by Gao Rushui. His body froze, and his face blanched watching the white cloth sway in the windless room. Interesting. The cloth is at least 1.5 meters off the ground. This height is not enough to cause strangulation from hanging. The tumbled chairs and tables, as well as the signs of struggle on the floor. The haunted house is trying to create the illusion that this was a forced suicide, but the ear houses were meant for the maids. This means that the specter refused to spare even those who are unrelated to her death. She's hell-bent on torturing those in this house to their death. Behind Gao Rushui's clear analysis, there was a hint of excitement. The design of this haunted house is quite impressive. There might still be other hidden secrets that we haven't discovered yet. She walked around the room and yanked off the faded bed cover. Lying underneath it was a paper doll. A paper doll lying in a living person's bed? Gao Rushui tossed the doll to the side and bent down to flip the mattress over. There was nothing underneath. The greater the anticipation, the greater the disappointment. Looks like I've overestimated this haunted house. Let's go. The exit is not in this room. She shrugged before walking out. He-san, who had been left alone in the living room, had his teeth chattering. Perhaps it was the angle, but he swore he saw the paper doll, which was lying on the floor, wink at him. The statues of bronze chicks started to bleed, and the paper dolls burned for the dead were found blinking. "Senior, wait for me!" As the door to the ear house closed, the white cloth in the room stopped swaying. "Can you be a little quieter? Why are you screaming left and right? Stop acting like such a little girl. Man up!" Gao Rushui rolled her eyes at He-san as she waited for him to catch up. "I'm not scared, but this place seriously makes me feel uncomfortable, and the longer we stay here, the stronger that feeling becomes. Don't you feel like something is amplifying our deepest fear?" He-san's words hit the nail on the head. Gao Rushui thought about it, and she also realized that something was off. The most important quality of a forensic doctor was the ability to stay calm no matter the situation. But when she was scolding He-san earlier, her composure was shattered. This hadn't happened to her before. Could it be that I, too, am feeling afraid? But why should I be afraid? Everything here is obviously fake. A crack started to form on Gao Rushui's internal defense. Neither of them could figure out the source of their fear. With the combined effect of suspicion and psychological terror, the seed of fear had started to grow in their hearts. "Say, do you think there is really something or someone inhabiting this place? After all, the boss did say this place is built on top of a mass grave and is a remodeled abandoned hospital." "Shush! Our university's morgue is even scarier than this. You're a forensic doctor. How is it that you're so easily scared?" Even though Gao Rushui said that she was not afraid, it was noticeable that the speed of her speech had increased. She looked around her. The old house, the morning hall, dead trees, the paper money, they were all set pieces. They weren't scary. "So, what is it that I'm afraid of?" The two were so distracted by their environment that they did not notice the background music that was on repeat. This band song called Black Friday had slowly but surely snuck its way into their hearts, evoking their sense of fear. "Xiao-san, how long have we been in here already?" "I have no idea, but I have a feeling we won't be able to escape in 15 minutes. Don't fret, give me some time to think about this, Gao Rushui said as she wandered down the corridor. This haunted house is not that scary. It's because the boss has been giving us negative psychological suggestions. Ever since we entered the haunted house, he has been stressing points like mass grave, live burial, ghosts, and stuff. That is a classic method to weaken our hearts. However, the most cunning part of this man is, even though he has set up a time limit, he did not say what will happen if we fail. This creates a natural pressure on ourselves, causing our minds to fill in the blank with the scariest speculation. Then, what do you think we should do now? This haunted house feels a bit different from others. He-san was an honest boy. He would do what his senior asked him to do. You're not wrong there. A normal haunted house hires actors to dress up as ghosts or uses plenty of setups to paint gory scenes to scare us, but this haunted house doesn't do that. He has prepared the set beforehand and allows us to wander about it freely. Without guidance and a set plot, there's no telling what will happen. I understand what you mean. The scariest is the unknown. He-san nodded. That explanation is as good as any. Gao Rushui frowned imperceptibly. Come on, let's move on to the next room. The ear house was attached to the main house. After pushing open the wooden door, it revealed a room filled with mourning outfits and a painted coffin sitting right in the middle of the room. The red coffin had a big she character, cut out from white paper pasted in the middle of it. Standing in 2 neat rows beside it were plenty of paper mannequins. Each of them had a name written on their back, and they all wore thin makeup on their faces. Their eyes seemed to glow as the door was pushed open, and they appeared to be quietly staring at the 2 figures standing at the door.